Okay, hello everybody, Gaming Triax here, and welcome back to another video. Now, as you can see, we are in another Starcraft 2 match, and as a matter of fact, this is the match that brought me from bronze to silver. So it was a pretty good game. I was pretty happy with the turnout. Needless to say, if it brought me from bronze to silver, I did in fact win, but it was quite a competitive game actually. So I thought I'd show you the replay and do some commentary over it, and hopefully you guys enjoy this. So anyway, as you can see, we have power offs in the upper left hand corner playing as the blue Zerg, and myself, Gaming Triax, in the bottom right hand corner playing as a red Protoss, almost a Terran. So anyway, as you can see here, pretty standard stuff in the beginning, getting out the first pylon. Now obviously, because I was playing against Zerg, I am doing the Forge Fast Expand. Most of you guys are probably familiar with that, but I do have a slightly modified version. I guess some people do this, but I don't actually use the pylon as part of the wall off. I generally try to put the pylon in the back so that it doesn't end up getting destroyed immediately, and then I put the other stuff in front. So I put the other stuff over here in front to wall off, just so that the pylon's safe behind it and it can continue powering things, because usually the Zerglings can just target attack the pylon, take that out, and then all the cannons and everything lose power. So anyway, as you can see, just scouting out his base here, early spawning pool, nothing too unexpected, and I actually just brought back my probe here, and I believe I planted a pylon down somewhere around here. I hope my sound is not annoying you guys. Sorry, I don't have a pop filter right now. Okay, so Forge going up relatively early. Always good when you're playing against Zerg, so that we can get out the cannons pretty quickly. We're going to take a look at production, and as you can see, spawning pool is now up, and we can expect to see the Zerglings coming out maybe. He did start producing queens here actually, and he had rallied them. He rallied them to the middle of the map. Not sure why, actually, but I am sure he had some reason. I don't know why he did that. Anyway, well, I guess we'll see if he had some reason. Anyway, here come the Zerglings. Looks like they might be on their way, but actually what I ended up doing was I sent back in my probe to try to take a look at what he was doing, and I believe I saw the Zerglings there when I went across. So wait, we're trying to look at the vision here. Okay, so here we go. As you can see, he sent in his overlord here just to take a look at what I was doing, and he saw the forge, but he couldn't see whether I was walled off over there or not. And also, as we can see, so over here, he managed to see my probe, and that distracted him for just enough time actually for me to get out this cannon here. So I kind of got lucky with that, though I partially did that on purpose actually. Because I had a feeling that the Zerglings were coming, and I knew that I wasn't quite ready for it, so I got up more photon cannons. I ended up putting up 3 at the same time just to be extra safe, and as you can see, the Zerglings come in, and here they go, here they go. The first photon cannon is still not even done yet though. It's almost done, and I knew that I just needed to wait for it to finish. Now he didn't know which one was going to go up first, so he just attacked the pylon, but as you can see, the cannon immediately started firing on him, and basically he was able to get into the base, but then we had the second cannon come up, the third cannon, and now with only 3 Zerglings left, I knew that my probes altogether would be able to finish off these Zerglings, and I do not believe that I suffered any casualties. We take a look at the units killed. So currently, I believe that's me on the, I'm red, so 8 units killed for me. He managed to kill 3 of my probes. Not a huge deal though. I can make probes much faster than he makes Zerglings. Actually, no, I can't. But whatever, probes are cheaper than Zerglings. So I have my second Nexus up here, just so that we can get production going relatively quickly. And I moved the probe over here. Sorry, I can't talk. Just to block off the entrance. That's my hope, at least usually. Now I actually probably should have gotten up the gateway a little bit earlier here. Oh no, never mind. So I did have the gateway over here, warping in the Zealot, just so that it can come in and take the place of that probe, so that we don't have a probe trying to wall off the base, because that would be very annoying. Now he did leave his overseer there, or observer, overlord, there we go, right there, just trying to watch what I was doing, but he kind of made the mistake of just keeping it there, thinking that I was going to build everything here. he really couldn't see that much. He didn't know he didn't even know that the gateway was done. He didn't know about the Nexus. He didn't know what was going on down here. All he saw was this stuff in the immediate vicinity, and then I was quickly able to get out stalkers and take that out. So really not the best planning there, but anyway, we have the cybernetics core coming up right now, and as you can see, he has just moved on to his second hatchery. Well, I've already started saturating my second Nexus. Now this is already kind of a bad sign. Whenever you're playing as Zerg, you should always be 1 to 2 bases ahead of your opponent, particularly if you're playing against Protoss or Terran, which he was. So he should really be on 3, even potentially 4 bases by now, when he was only on 2, and this can really hurt your economy. If we take a look at the income here, as you can see, I am a little bit behind in minerals, but we're pretty much even, and I'm way ahead in gas, giving me a significant advantage in terms of tech there, because I knew I was going to be trying to tech up quickly. Now also we take a look at the units. Obviously you can see he does have 28 drones to my 25 probes, so that's pretty even. Sorry about the email notification, I don't know if you heard that. Pretty even in terms of that, except he does have a Zergling, and he has 8 Zerglings and I have only 1 Zealot. But with the 4 photon cannons right here, and now my sentry that has come up that can easily wall off, I knew I wasn't in that much danger from any of this stuff. So he did have the roaches coming out relatively early here, just trying to spread around the creep there. So he was building up for a nice looking push there. If we take a look at the production tab though, he did go for mass hydralisks. It looks like he's going for mass hydralisks, and as you can see, my robotics facility going up early just so that I can get out Colossus as fast as possible. Also, warp gate research is nearly complete here, and we do have more gateways going up. Now I have a tendency to build a lot of gateways at the same time. Not necessarily recommended. I do the same thing with pylons. That's definitely not recommended, but you know, I always forget, so I just have to do it. So anyway, I mean, if you take a look at the army, if he had attacked me right now, there's actually a very good chance he would have made it through and won. With 2 Hydralisks, 3 Roaches, and 8 Zerglings versus a Zealot, a Stalker, and a Sentry. Granted, I could have force field off right here and had the photon cannon sort of eat away at them for a while, but he could have just gone back, waited for the force field, and then come in. With a little bit of micro skill, he could have beat me at this point. And then this is sort of where the tides start to turn. I mean, once Protoss gets into about the 10-minute mark, things start moving a lot faster, because getting up warp gates it makes everything so much more efficient, because you can get units almost instantly. So he started just falling behind here, and as you can see, he is just building up his Hydralisk army with 4 Hydralisks already. Looks like he's just getting ready for an early push here. Now he does have another extractor coming up. These 2 are both saturated, and the base is actually fully saturated. Usually not recommended, and this was probably part of his downfall, which is the fact that you're not supposed to saturate it with 24 to 24 workers. Ideally, I usually put on fewer than that, like 20 or so. So yeah, that was kind of a mistake there. Also, one thing to note is he didn't appear to be using hotkeys to their full potential. He had 1 hotkey for his base or hatchery. That's it. He had one hotkey for, yeah, that's it. So not exactly the most efficient use, though. Then again, I only have 3. So as you can see though, so now the robotics bay is up, and the robo facility is now warping in Immortals. Usually when I play against Zerg, my plan is to try to go for quick Colossus just as quickly as possible, because Colossus is of course good against most Zerg units. Now anyway, here goes my observer heading into the main base. So as you can see, he couldn't see it yet. And if we take a look at my vision, I completely skipped over his army. Unfortunately, I didn't realize I was there. I usually just decide to check out the natural, see what's going on. I mean, check out the main, see what's going on. And I saw he had this, looked like it was fully saturated, but I didn't see much of an army here. I kind of didn't think much of it at the time. I was a bit more worried back in my own base. I was trying to build up my units, get out these Colossus as soon as possible. So as you can see, I have both the robotics facilities producing Colossus, and also Void Rays coming out. Void Rays can be very valuable, especially against Zerg, simply because many of the Zerg units do not have very strong air defense, and unless they're going mass mutas or something, Zerg can struggle fighting against Void Rays especially. So we take a look at everyone's vision here. He's still just building up his Hydralisk army. Now granted, Hydralisks can be very powerful, but usually mass Hydralisks is not going to help you. There are only specific units that you can kind of mass and expect to still win, and Hydralisks is not really one of them. You can mass Colossus and you can mass Void Ray, things like that. You can't really mass Hydralisk, so that was really not the best decision for him. But if you take a look at my vision now I have gotten sight of his army and I saw that he was going mass Hydralisks. Now, one thing is, I did not know what was good against them. The Hydras, I don't play Zerg, and I just really don't know what is strong against Hydras, what's weak against them, anything. So I just assumed, you know what, I don't know what's going to beat these guys, but I know what he has. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to warp in as many units as possible, and I'm also going to start researching upgrades. I just decided I needed to get every advantage I could before going in for the attack, because I know that Hydras are considered quite powerful units. I just don't know what's good against them. So I waited out here. I needed to get out of the natural expansion thing right now, just because my army was starting to get a little bit big. And if we take a look at the units, I do have quite strong army composition right now. If you take a look at the army supply, it's currently 82 to 64, and worker supply 66 to 48. Now that's sort of one of the main downfalls for him in this game. You should never have less drones than a Protoss opponent if you're playing as Zerg. It's just, you just shouldn't. So as you can see, tons of Hydralisks at this point. If we take a look at his units quickly again, 30 Hydralisks, and I have 30 of no units, but the thing is, my unit composition is still much stronger, with 3 Colossus, 12 Stalkers, 3 Void Rays, and some other random things. I mean, my unit composition is simply much better. And also, I was now expanding to my 3rd base. He's also expanding to his 3rd base at basically the exact same time. That's a big problem. You should not be expanding to your 3rd base at the same time as a Protoss opponent. He should have been on his 3rd base expanding to his 4th base by now. So he was definitely behind in economy a little bit. Now granted, his income was quite good. Even compared to mine, it was a little bit higher. But the thing is, if you take a look at his worker supply, I had he had a lot more workers. Oh wait, I've been reading this backwards. He had much more army supply, but I had stronger unit composition. Sorry guys, I totally messed that up before. Hopefully you guys don't mind that. So yeah, he had more supply. I had a much stronger unit composition here. I also had a lot of Colossus. I believe I had 3 Colossus at this point, and I was working on producing more back at the Robos. Actually, I'm not at the moment, but I do produce more. Also going for a lot of Void Rays, just because I know that in general Zerg is relatively weak against Void Rays. Now here we go, he's making a push with his mass Hydras. He probably expected that this would destroy me quite quickly, but he made kind of a big error there. When he microed his units back, it gave me a chance to recover my fire for all of the Stalkers and things, which basically just meant that I was able to get off an extra shot in every single unit he had. So as you can see, the Hydras just fall really, really fast here. I had, let's see, actually I didn't have any upgrades at the moment, but the thing is, my unit composition was just way better. Now if we take a look at the units killed, I have now killed 83 units, whereas he's only killed 20. So, I mean, yeah, sure, he managed to kill a few of my units. He did actually kill all my Colossus, all 3 of them, and that was quite expensive. But I was also on 3 base, so I wasn't doing too badly. Also, I still had the Observer up here, so I was just able to watch him, and I saw this other army coming. If we take a look at it, I could see him amassing the next army, and I was kind of getting worried about the fact that he had so many Hydras already. So I just started going for mass Colossus again. So I started warping in 2 Colossus at a time there, and also we now have quite a few warp gates here. I believe that's like 10. So here we go, we have a small battle here, and I realized that if I go straight head on with this army, it's going to be a difficult fight. So I was planning to move back, but then the Colossus starts coming out, and I'm able to warp in more units, and I realized that probably not a good idea to retreat. I thought I could win it, and turns out I could. So, because with these 2 Colossus coming out, I knew I was going to have the upper hand, and I managed to just barely take that fight with very few, only 8 Stalkers and 2 Colossus and 2 Immortals left. He is still building up a very nice looking army there. He's got 18 Hydralisks on the way, but the problem is he just kept going with the mass Hydralisks, which really wasn't helping him. I had more Colossus on the way, and Colossus seemed to be very effective against Hydralisks. So as you can see, we now have the 3rd Colossus, and I was able to just warp in units continuously. Now my income was pretty low, but if you take a look, he had a lot of unspent resources that he could have without a doubt spent on more units, or even a 4th or 5th base, which he should have been on. Actually, that's one thing to note. He is at least on a 4th base now, which is good. He should have been there. Actually, I'm not quite sure when he expanded, but it was without a doubt a bit late. He should be on a 4th base a while ago when I was expanding to this 3rd. So as you can see, we're both trying to build up our armies again. He's still going with the mass Hydralisks. If you take a look, he now has 36 Hydralisks. This is a very large army, and if we take a look at my vision, I don't believe that I saw all of the Hydralisks there. That would have been seriously concerning for me. So actually no, I do. So I go back and I see the Hydralisks on the way. So basically I knew that he was getting those out. Also, as you can see, he was getting out his Spire there, so that means he was probably going to go for Mutas pretty soon. Fortunately, I was able to just continue warping in units, warping in Colossus, and with all of the warp gates that I had, it kind of gave me a big advantage in terms of this battle here. So as you can see, I had quite a decent army at the time. Though granted, had I gone toe-to-toe with all of these Hydras, I'm not sure I would have won. Now, even though I had 6 Colossus and quite a good amount of Stalkers that I could warp in quickly, I still think that his army, okay, so there we go, what's that, 7th Colossus, and still warping in Stalkers, it would have been a very competitive fight at this point, but now I'm just warping in units much faster than him. He's really not spending his money, actually, which is going to be a big disadvantage for him. I mean, he's full out his supply, and he's finally expanding to his 5th base, but I'm now expanding to my 4th base. So now he's managed to make back his time in terms of base and economy, except he's still behind now in units. So, well, or at least in, I don't know what to say. He's just not making enough units. He should be making more Hydras right now. So that was kind of a big disadvantage for him. I mean, as you can see, he does have a nice Hydralisk army, but against this many Colossus, I think at this point, yeah, we had 7 Colossus out, and the ability to just continuously warp in these Stalkers here, just continue building up the army, he was kind of going to be in trouble. Now, he did have Corruptors on the way, but I also managed to put up this pylon over here just with the intention of seeing what he was doing. I also tried to hide my probe in that field there, and he really had no idea what was going on at this point. As you can see, he had his really nice looking army over here, and he just had no idea that I'd put the pylon there. Now, my plan was to go ahead with a push, so I start moving my, I was planning to go ahead with a push, yeah, so here we go. I start moving my units out. I know that the pylon's there, and it'll be able to warp in units to help reinforce my army, and at this point, I really didn't know what to expect. I was not even permanently supply blocked, like, at 200, so really, I was kind of expecting, well, I didn't know what to expect. I knew that he had a lot of units. I didn't realize he was 200 at 200. As you can see, I did manage to get the jump on him there, so I took a small advantage in terms of that. And I was able to very efficiently take out those Hydralisks, and now it was basically the Colossus are useless. So it's now my Stalkers versus his Corruptors. But the thing is, I was able to target fire them down individually, and this many Stalkers versus the few Corruptors that he had, I really had quite a large advantage. So as you can see, I was able to just keep warping in Stalkers from there, and by now I kind of knew I had the advantage, and it was time to storm his base. I don't even remember if I kept up production on that 4th base there. So as you can see, storming the base, he kept trying to make his Hydralisk. He kept up with the Corruptor production, but that was it. He really had no choice there. I had quite a large army, and there's no way he was going to keep producing units. So that was the game that ended up getting me into Silver League. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my commentary and everything. Please subscribe, like the video, leave a comment if you have any questions, and I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye.